Welcome to the AQA GCSE RE Revision Guide, Religion and Animal Rights, Life Issues, Unit 2.1. There are many different sports that use animals. Some are seen as more acceptable than others. Most people would disagree with dog fighting, but dog agility is something that may benefit the animal. Animals used in sport must be respected and cared for as part of God's creation. We are stewards of the animals, and it is our duty to respect them, so a sport that hurts or kills an animal for pure entertainment is considered as wrong. Sports that add to the welfare and the enjoyment of the animal's life are perfectly acceptable. Dog agility is a good example of this. Muslims believe they must show respect to Allah's creation or they will suffer on the Day of Judgment. After death, Muslims believe that they will be judged on their actions. The Quran states that animals should not be used as mere entertainment for humans. They hold more value than this. Islam does not agree with gambling, so horse racing is frowned upon by Muslims. Hunting takes place in many different forms, and there are several arguments for each specific type. So what are the arguments surrounding fox hunting? Many people believe that fox hunting should be allowed to continue. They might say that foxes are pests that need to be controlled. Foxes also threaten farm livestock. They can carry diseases that must be stopped from spreading. Fox hunting is a tradition and it should be allowed to continue. However, there are many strong arguments against fox hunting. Fox hunting is done for pure entertainment. The fox population can be controlled in a humane way. Fox hunting is against the law. It became illegal in 2004. Fox hunting is cruel and barbaric. Christianity teaches that hunting for food is acceptable. It is also okay if it helps maintain the environment, for example, controlling pests. Most Christians would maintain that we should not destroy animals for pure entertainment and that we should show the proper respect to all species. Quakers, a type of Christian, have campaigned against fox hunting as they see it as cruel and barbaric. So what does Islam say about hunting? The Quran states that animals should not be used for human entertainment. Muhammad, the Prophet of Islam, stated that animals must be treated with the proper respect. Muslims would agree with the hunting of animals for food, as long as the species was not in danger of extinction as a result. The fur and ivory trade. Thousands of years ago, it seemed perfectly acceptable to kill animals and use their fur as clothing. Today, the fur trade refers to the mass farming, 50 million per year, of animals like mink, so their fur can be worn for fashion purposes alone. The animals used in the fur trade are skinned while they are still conscious. Despite this cruelty, the fur trade is worth a total of £24 billion per year. The ivory trade involves the slaughter of animals such as elephants or rhinos for their tusks. Despite being illegal in some African countries, the poaching is flourishing. So much so that elephants may become extinct in less than 12 years. meaning you may never get the chance to see them in the wild.
That's me, JJ Kelly, a producer on the upcoming PBS special, Battle for the Elephants. Last year, I had the chance to join an incredible team that traveled around the world to document the bitter consequences of the ivory trade.
There are piles of tusks on the floor, stacked in shelves.
Our team had just 6 weeks to capture a comprehensive snapshot of what, and perhaps more importantly who, is pushing the largest land mammal on Earth potentially towards extinction. Elephant numbers are as low now as they've been in recorded history. Over the next few weeks, I'll be introducing you to some of the topics central to this controversial issue. And you'll meet two investigative reporters, Brian Christie.
You see the tusk moving the curve like this.
You can feel the tusk.
And Aidan Hartley.
So my friend, can you get 1,000 kilos?
Yeah. Each of whom confronts the driving forces behind this illicit trade, supply and demand. For all of us, this is a story of tragedy, a story of hope, but most of all, it's a story that needs to be heard.
The religious views on the fur and ivory trade could not be more obvious. Christians and Muslims consider these trades as going against our duty of stewardship. We must respect God's creation and protect animals from extinction. Do not forget that Muslims believe Allah will judge people on their actions. This is known as the Day of Judgment. Different types of animal testing. Cosmetic testing is using animals to test products such as shampoos or makeup. Cosmetic testing is banned in the UK and Europe. Medical testing is using animals to test for new drugs to help with diseases or for techniques such as brain surgery. This is allowed in the UK. Animal testing is extremely controversial, and there are many arguments for or against the topic. Arguments for animal testing. Humans are a more important species than animals, and we should use them for our own survival. Advances in brain surgery helps with diseases such as Huntington's or Parkinson's. If diseases like cancer are to be cured, animal testing will lead the way. Many of the animals used are bred for this purpose. 85% are rodents. Arguments against animal testing. Animal testing is cruel and causes suffering to the animals used. Animals have a right to life, and we have no right to take this away from them. There are many advances in computer simulation or stem cell research that could be used instead. Some more involved species are used, such as monkeys. Whereas some Christians support the use of animals for food or scientific experiments, others, such as Quakers, actively campaign to stop such things as experimentation. Christians believe that animals are part of God's creation and they should be respected, not made to suffer. However, Christians believe that animals were put here to aid human beings. Some religious people would therefore argue that in order to protect the human race from terrible diseases such as cancer, animal experiments should be used. Some religious people would say the good outweighs the bad, and that saving children from genetic diseases is more important than the life of these animals. Most religious people do not agree with cosmetic experiments and would prefer technology to be used instead of animals wherever possible. Some Muslims do not agree with animal testing. They think that animals should be respected as part of Allah's creation. Muhammad forbade cruelty to animals. Teachings about how we should respect Allah's creatures are set out in the Quran. Other Muslims believe that some animal testing is acceptable if suffering is kept to a minimum. Muslims support alternative methods of finding cures, such as computer simulation. Genetic modification means that you are changing the DNA or the genetics of something. This is done to test new drugs and how they react to the genetically altered DNA, or it can be used to mix human and animal DNA to grow organs that could be used in transplant surgery. Cloning means you are making an exact DNA copy of something. Dolly the sheep was the first animal to be cloned. Cloning and genetic modification can help humans discover cures for diseases and can help create new drugs to combat genetic problems. This means that most Christians accept limited cloning of animals and genetic experiments. Christians believe that God put humans in charge of animals and we can use them to help us. Although some do not like the idea of playing God, so it must be carefully monitored. Christians believe that animals must be looked after and suffering should be kept to a minimum. Some Muslims are not against animal cloning, but Muhammad said animals should not be kept in cages, so many Muslims prefer to use other methods to find cures for genetic diseases. Don't forget to use quotes in some of your answers. 2 quotes from the Bible that you could use in the animals section are: "Yet not one sparrow is forgotten by God." "A righteous man cares for the needs of his animals." Thank you for watching this video on Religion and Animals Part 2. Please check out some of the other videos that are available from RE Webley.